History of I Love You Man. Where to start? Well, I think there's only one place to start.
The 90s.
And that's with the male loneliness epidemic. Gen Z and millennial men in the U.S. are among the loneliest in the Western world, says Fortune. Men are carrying the brunt of the loneliness epidemic amid potent societal pressures, says the Conversation.
Who is
that?
That
Is Justin
Who are we
Bieber.
looking at? That's what I thought.
I thought Travis Barker.
Nope.
Why are men so lonely? Asks the Los Angeles Times.
Because he's standing in a yard by a tree by himself. He should just go where the people are.
Audio medium.
Okay.
Men are in a loneliness epidemic. Should women care? Asks Yes
Psychedelic
Magazine.
cartoon.
The men's loneliness epidemic might not exist, says NPR. So whether this epidemic exists or not, the Gallup data most recently showed that American men are more likely than other Americans and more likely than their peers in other wealthy nations to report feeling lonely. Based on aggregated data from 2023 and 2024, 25% of U.S. men aged 15 to 34 said they felt lonely a lot of the previous day. And younger U.S. men are more likely to feel lonely than their counterparts across the 38 other higher income democratic countries in the OECD. This is according to Gallup. Link in the description. Now, what accounts for this male loneliness epidemic? Or is it just sort of a media phenomenon that has gained a lot of traction as a way that we can blame? We can find somebody to blame for why everything in the world is going wrong. Why do we have Trump twice? Oh, it's those shitty, angry men. That's why.
Are you lonely, Matt?
I'm not, no.
Okay. Wade?
Not lonely.
Okay, so my data says no. But
but we're a very
small sample.
Select sample group.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
An R of 1.
Okay, but
two.
no, I don't know, based purely anecdotal, but also proven out in the data and proven out in the way the world has evolved. People, not just men, are fucking lonely because we have a isolating, alienating society. Why do people always say it's impossible to make friends as an adult? It's like, it's actually
awkward.
It's not harder to make friends when you're an adult because of the way you are. The reason it's easier to make friends when you're a kid is there's a place they put all the kids for 8 hours every day.
Yeah, there's a reason why all of us have work friends whenever we end up working at a place.
Okay, and what has changed recently?
Yeah, I know.
People don't have jobs, or if they do, they're gig workers or temp workers, or they don't work in the same place. And then what happens when you do go to an office? What do they show in this movie? His one male
Cubicles.
coworker.
Oh,
What is
sorry.
their relationship with each other?
Adversarial.
They're adversarial, yes. So he does not. So he's even in an environment where it's not conducive to forming social bonds. And I feel like all of society is just structured in that way and just getting worse and worse. And it's the same reason why they're like, young people aren't having sex. And it's like, that's true. The reason why is not because they're less horny, but because they're not meeting other people, because there's no way for people to meet other people these days.
But young people still go to school.
After school, people in their 20s.
They don't go to college.
Fewer people are going to college, but even the college experience is like, well, there's a lot of remote learning and there's less community. There's less.
Thank God for those dating apps.
So you have all of these trends that were going on in 2009. And even when you look at this movie from 2009, it looks like a movie from a different world because this guy who's a real estate broker goes to an office with all these other people. Now he would be an independent contractor. He'd probably work from home if he had this job at all.
They don't
Very true.
They don't say it, do they? Like, not directly, but it is his mom's company. She's the real estate agent and started this company. Yeah, there's a photo of them two selling her first house. She's next to the for sale sign and he's like, "Yay, mom."
If it is harder for men to make friends than it is for women, because this has always been a thing people say.
That makes sense to me. I buy that. You guys aren't made to make a friend. You have to express interest in like vulnerableness and affection to something. It's gay if it's a guy. Like, how else do you do it except for when you're a child?
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that what the movie is kind of trying to subvert?
Subvert. I mean, I think it's trying to he's not a person who made strong bonds when he was younger, and this would have been when it was societally acceptable to do it. So yeah, if you miss that boat because you were a girlfriend guy, and there are absolutely girlfriend guys. I was a boyfriend girl, so I know that. It is hard. You feel like you've missed the best friend train because everyone you miss already has best friends and they're going to be talking about old stuff. And it's like coming in on a comic book series. Where the fuck do I start? Do I really have a place in this? Are we going to write more chapters for me or did I just miss this? Mm-hmm. And it makes you feel sad when you don't have your own. Like I definitely think it's a real thing this movie's talking about.
Yeah.
I was a girlfriend guy, but all my best friends are people like Wade who were friends I've known since high school or even before.
And you guys had the super macho reason to get together, which was a band. And I mean it. I'm saying like that is a socially acceptable reason for a bunch of guys to spend lots of hours together, sweaty and next to each other and like being artsy. Like,
Except Matt and I weren't in a band for, I think, the first 6 years that we knew each other.
Wait, if you freaking contradict me one more time.
I'm subverting your ass.
Well, but like for men who find it difficult to make friends, I think that one of the and obviously it is, and there's not many great ways to do it, but we see each other because we have a thing we like to do together, which is to make music or to podcast. And that's why I see you more than I see most of my other friends. And I'm doing a podcast with Patrick. And for that reason, I, remotely meet up with him every month. And it's like, you have to have a sort of set activity that you're going to be doing together, especially when you get to be an adult and you have your life that you have to lead.
This is why my most recent friends are either people I work with or they're literally my best friend I've had for like 10 years now is because our kids played soccer together and they went to school. They still go to school together. It's all just about like, well, I'm going to see you every Saturday because of soccer. And now it's people at the theater because I go there every day. So, yeah.
So I think the reason I brought up all of this is like, we all take this as a given, but this wasn't how it used to be. Like you saw lots of people in your everyday life. And you lived closer to other people. It's like, it's unusual for us to live on a piece of property, hundreds and hundreds of yards away from anybody else. And even then, hundreds and hundreds of feet away from other people, not having any public transportation or a town square or like the world used to be more conducive for you to make friends because you make friends by just being around other people.
I have an update. In the movie I Love You Man, Peter's mom, played by Jamie Priestley, is a real estate agent.
Jamie Presley does not play Peter's mom.
You went to Google AI for that.
Did.
This movie all starts with a man named Larry Levin and he wrote, this spec script in the 90s called Let's Be Friends, because this is a thing that people have been talking about even since then and since way before then. These things have been going on for, I don't know, since the 40s or since at least the 70s, these trends
thought you were going to say
of loneliness.
Thought you were going to say it's called No Homo.
Larry Levin, he wrote for TV shows like It's Gary Shandling's Show and Bakersfield PD, which he created. He also wrote one episode of Seinfeld. I'm going to I'll get back to that in a second. He wrote screenplays for Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Dolittle 2. Then he sold this script for a movie called Let's Be Friends, and it would take about 12 to 15 years for it to get made much later. But that's why I think Wade and I were both picking up on the 90s-ness. And I really noticed so many Seinfeld, like that Anwar Sadat thing is such a Seinfeld joke.
Yeah.
This dog looks like Anwar Sadat.
Did the Seinfeld episode he wrote, was it the Not That There's Anything Wrong with That?
No, it was the boyfriend. It's the Keith Hernandez episode.
Oh.
So I watched that episode last night and I was like, oh my God, these are literal scenes from I Love You Man. Let's take a look. Or this is just audio. I couldn't get the video.
In 3 days and he hasn't called.
Well, maybe you should call him.
I can't.
Why not?
I don't know. I just feel like he should call me.
What's the difference?
You don't understand, Elaine. I don't want to be over anxious. If he wants to see me, he has my number. He should call.
Just go ahead and call him.
Well, I can't call here. It's a coffee shop. I mean, what am I going to say to him?
Just ask him if he wants to get together.
For what, dinner?
Dinner's good.
Don't you think that's coming on a little too strong? Isn't that like a turn-off?
Jerry, he's a guy.
That's the movie I Love You Man.
It is the whole movie. Yes, I'm so glad
Paul
it was funnier.
Rudd doing a Jerry Seinfeld impression.
Better.
I think the movie, the Seinfeld episode, the extended joke is just having a male friend or trying to find a male friend is a lot like dating, and that you even have to break up. And it's not that I Love You Man isn't that, because it is trying to be like a romantic comedy about friendship.
Same beats.
Which even has like, the wedding and the guy interrupting it and everything. But I at least like it that it moves beyond that joke, because in the Seinfeld episode, which is 2 episodes, it's a double episode. Jesus. They keep returning to that joke. It's, he's a guy.
It would have had a lot of legs in the 90s. Yes.
But you see the 90s relics all over this movie, like how many phone calls they're always making. And sorry, I'm hogging the phone. You mean that
right? I was like,
cordless landline?
Okay, yeah.
Well, okay, so this script is written in the 1990s, and John Hamburg, who is the director and co-writer of this movie, he said he was offered the script many times before he finally accepted it.
Meet the Parents. That was one Lacey hated.
Yeah, so John Hamburg
Horror movie.
is he wrote Meet the Parents, he wrote Zoolander,
Which I love.
he directed Along Came Polly, and he's recently directed Why Him and Me Time. Along Came Polly also has this thing of like, you need to loosen up, man. Let out your energy. Scream on the beach. Throw your cell phone in the river.
Did it have the throw pillow thing I remembered? Something,
pillow?
Something about pillows on the bed?
I don't remember. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I remember.
Too many pillows on the bed?
I get the sense that Hamburg, like he took this script from the 90s and was just like, well, I'll just update it. I'll make it raunchier, but did leave a lot of the bones from this sort of these observations about like masculinity and everything from the 90s.
Would you say like girls' night, guys' night? It feels kind of old fashioned? These like set poker nights. I know people still do this, but like the concept of it's boys' night, it's girls' night. Maybe it was still okay in 2009.
I think that still happens.
I think that's from what I hear that still happens. I've just never been that kind of person. I've never had the boys.
Somebody invite him just anywhere, please.
Well, I mean, all my friends have been friends with you too, and then they like you more than they like me, and so we all just hang out together, and then I just talk less and less.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, but I think that's still a thing. And that like they talk about like Jon Favreau they go on boys trips to Vegas. Whenever I hear about these guys who go off to, like my brother goes to Vegas with guys. Where are you getting the money?
That's what the money's for. No kids, Matt. That's how.
That's how. So yeah, he wrote Meet the Parents, which we did on a previous episode with Wade. That's also a case where he took an older script and updated it.
Yeah,
because Meet the Parents was a remake of an earlier independent movie. And then I Love You Man is his first movie after Along Came Polly. But he'd also worked in TV. He directed 3 episodes of the show Undeclared, which was Judd Apatow's follow-up to Freaks and Geeks. And that show starred Jason Segel. That's where he meets Jason Segel. And through Judd Apatow, he became friends with Paul Rudd. Again, I was very surprised Judd Apatow has no involvement in this movie, but it obviously exists in the universe he created. However, uncomfortably, I say. This movie made on a $40 million budget. It made $71 million domestic, 92 worldwide, a nice little hit. But this is like creeping up to the very end of movie studios doing big budget comedies. It just like, I don't know what like Bridesmaids maybe was the last like super comedy blockbuster.
What about Girls Trip?
I mean, that was a hit. Yeah. I don't know how big budget that was. I mean, like 40 million is kind of a lot for a movie. It's like, yeah, we got to pay these movie stars. Now, if you make a comedy, it's got to be like $10 million or less. I don't know. But that's just one of the ways this movie feels like it's a telegram from an earlier world, especially because it opens with the DreamWorks logo. That's the history of I Love You Man.